I forgot to tell you this, Jimmy. Bancroft and I are pretty sure that story might have got us demonetized on that video.
Good.
Actually,
we deserve that.
Hang on, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. There was one video, for some reason that got demonetized when it comes to these weekly ones. It falls under the new YouTube's like changes.
We did talk about piss for a half hour.
Yeah, that was sick.
That's cool, though.
It was parks and haunted houses, so it was definitely when we talked about the going to
Kings Island, right?
Yeah,
road trip. I told the road trip story because the other one is the Jimmy pissing on his own socks, and then I think it got brought up in that video too.
Well, that never seen the light of day though.
No, actually, I have an episode titled "Blue and Pink." That has not.
That might be.
No, that
might be my piss story then. If the title is peeing, but that one didn't get demonetized.
No. I don't know.
All right, I guess we should just tell piss stories if we don't want to.
What's going on? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Let's Just Talk About Stuff because we have nothing else better to do on a Sunday. Speaking of which, congrats whoever the winner may be for the Giant Broly Leader. As of right now, recording, I don't actually know who has won that. It'll be on the screen.
It was me. I won it.
No, it'll be on the screen. Just the first time. I'm not gonna do anything else outside that. And today I'm being joined by Jake, Jimmy, and Nick.
What's going on, y'all?
You have no proof of this?
Howdy.
Let's just get right into it. We've been gone for 2 weeks, primarily because I didn't feel like doing anything and being super lazy and absolutely loving it. So we have content coming back this week. We have probably 3 profiles and at least 3 matches. We have Slug versus Bardock Xeno. We have
Yellow Bardock and SS4.
Thank you. Yeah. SS4 Gogeta to be exact.
Yeah, the red one.
And then we have Yellow Slugs again against Yellow Manekians. So both the yellow decks from this past set or current set right now. So pretty exciting. And we got some Broly cards that have been kind of revealed this past week and weekish. And those look pretty exciting as well.
Broly?
I
know that guy.
Coomer. Now we got some Coomer cards, which I'm actually excited for that deck. I don't know how good that deck will be in the long run, but I actually am excited for that deck.
I know I say this every time, but some of the art on the Cumber cards is very nice. The one drop especially, I think it is, where he's kind of like turned around, kind of looking at his own hair almost, and you don't really see like a full shot of his face. You just kind of get some of the mask and stuff. I'm really liking that they're kind of like taking new directions, especially because they can reach into Heroes and they can start pulling art from there.
Set 20 will be primarily Prison Planet stuff, I think. At least the introduction of Prison Planet. So
this came up in our group chat, but if you are playing that deck and you combo one of your opponent's cards and choose it to go to the Z energy, it will go to your opponent's Z energy, and Jimmy will now explain why.
What the fuck do you mean? you choose for it to go to the Z energy, it goes to the damn Z energy of the owner.
Yeah, it goes to the owner of the card.
Yeah, it says it in the rule book on like I mean I could probably just say a bunch of numbers and nobody will look it up, but if Bancroft really wants to, he can flash it on screen. I'll find it in the rule book. I know where it's at, whereabouts.
Yeah, it's Z charging.
Yeah, but that's definitely something to note if you are going to play that deck or play against that deck. Something else to note: the Vegito. You cannot choose it to give it Overlord. There was the whole conversation about how Overlord interacts on your opponent's side with Barrier. You can't even choose it to give it Overlord, so don't even worry about it.
You can't give it a Servant.
Or Servant, yes.
Yeah. Because if it had Servant, you could technically, I think, choose it because the way Servant's, the way Overlord's written is, you place a card with Servant at the bottom of the deck.
Yeah.
But it doesn't
Overlord says place, not choose.
Yeah. Similar to like the 5-drop Blue Kaba and then the 3-drop Interplanetary Training Vegeta, which actually come up in a match that happened at this locals this past week. That Vegeta does not target a card or choose a card, so it just places a card at the bottom of the deck of your opponent's choosing, and you have to ignore the word choosing in that sentence.
Yeah,
Because
but
it
just
does
for
get
English purposes, yeah.
just for English purposes. But
Your opponent selects one card,
yeah,
and that card is then placed at the bottom of the deck.
yeah. So interesting wording things like that. I kind of wish there would be a overhaul to how that is worded because it's really difficult, even as a experienced player. Like I played that Vegeta for so many games, and then one day I was just like going through my deck, like refreshing my memory on all the cards, and I'm like, oh shit, it doesn't choose. I'm like, I could have used this in so many better situations
Yeah.
instead of just throwing in my energy because the card kind of sucks outside of that.
Nick, this past weekend you played Piccolo finally. We got SH Piccolo on the channel. How was that?
Yep. It's a good deck. The archetype itself is decent, I would suppose. You get good options for removal. You have decent draw power. The deck doesn't need too many pieces in and of itself to like run and function. Which I had a good amount of fun with it. It uses the Z deck pretty well. It's got Z battle cards that give it draw power that you need to awaken. You get a Z leader that does a lot of stuff on its side too. Had pretty good success with it. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, Slug was pretty fun.
Okay.
No, it definitely an interesting deck. I think it was during my Nick's match, which we'll talk about it on the actual recording of it. But I realized I had misread part of Slug's permanent, and I thought it was just when you comboed a card, and it's just when it leaves the battle area, you get to be able to put your Z energy. So I thought it was relearning that was pretty nice, actually, which kind of changes the way how I think I would play that deck from here on out, and actually changes some of my numbers, I think.
I think when that deck was first being revealed, there was kind of a lot of speculation around like how well would this deck be able to generate Z energy. And I feel like ultimately it ended up being a little bit difficult to do that reliably.
So the way the Slug I think should work, in my opinion, you need to run at least 4 of the new LTAS because it's a blocker and it has a combo cost of 1. So initially what you would do, you would just block with it, and that way you can immediately combo it into your Z energy. Now granted, you do need to have a Z energy card there already because you have to place 1 of those into your drop. But then that lets you set up for all the furthering and Zilla plays. And then with this Slug, I just comboed it for my drop using undercard skills, which actually helped out a lot.
Sounds like it was, despite the cards just kind of looking a little bit clunky on their face, it kind of ran okay, and you were able to keep a decent amount of Z energy.
You will see in both my matchups with that deck, I had to play 2 different ways with 2 different opponents. On my first matchup, without going too much detail, I had to play more defensive because of what it was the Xeno Bardock match, so I knew it was going to be more aggressive and aggro, so I had to play differently than I played Nick. And I feel like you see more of the engine in the second matchup. So if you're all interested in the Slug matchup, you'll see that sometime later this week.
Nice.
Yeah. The Piccolo deck, it did pretty much everything that it was meant to do. Like, yeah, I think overall our game was a really, really good one to showcase both decks really well.
No, I completely agree with that.
And Battle for Planet Namek. It's interesting that Yellow has been so slept on recently. Like, I mean, I know it hasn't really been winning any events, but if you look back even 6 months ago, there was at least, a quarter of the field would be Yellow decks. And now it seems like the 3-color game has been pushed into like a 2-color game with red and blue.
What I think it is, and Jimmy, you can correct me on this if you think otherwise, we all agree that Sun Gohan is a really good deck. The problem with it is that it hasn't been showing up anywhere else. Obviously, it's been Sin, it's been SS4 Gogeta, and it was Crimson Coup before the errata. Now, I don't know how Crimson Crew will stand after they've changed the rules of it, but at our locals, a lot of our players have been playing more mid-range decks, and that's allowing Sun Gohan to kind of just push right through there, where we have seen these more aggro and more efficient decks kind of uphold the title. Do you think Sun Gohan will come back into Blue's corner, or will it now just go purely red again with the Radon Crimson Coup?
Uh, I think the meta game is at a halt right now because all of the big events are gone.
Yeah.
Or have gone and passed. It's a new year. We got the new set on the horizon. We still got a decent amount of time before before we're there.
Sorry, there are 3 events. North America, January, February, Zenkai Cups, January 28th, February 5th, and February 19th. And 2 of those are online tournaments as well.
Yeah, I think the big or the most competitive players are kind of refreshing themselves and taking a step back. So I don't think we're going to see any breakthrough decks between now and the next set. And it really depends on what's going to happen in the next set for how good the aggressive format will be. I think with a little bit of stuff we've seen from Cumber so far, depending on how that deck flows overall, being able to keep your opponent's cards tapped down is going to be very, very strong. And will slow down the aggro game and might continue to push mid-range decks, at least at our locals, uh, to be kind of the pick to play against that. And I think a lot of our locals are going to be playing Cumber. But really,
It's fun.
Yeah, the deck looks like a blast. It really depends on what's going to come with next set. If I think Gohan will be able to thrive. I think Gohan, we're talking about the 3 energy Gohan here, is almost like an evergreen deck where just turning cardboard sideways is never a bad thing. And that deck does it really well. So I think it'll still be good. I don't know if it'll be able to absolutely take over the meta. I think one of the reasons that a lot of players have stayed away from it is due to the restriction of 3 energy and having a low amount of cards in hand. There is some RNG to that deck, as well as a lot of. It is a difficult deck to play. It's a deck with a very high skill ceiling. And it's pretty difficult to get into that deck as well. So I think that's why a lot of people have played I don't want to call them simpler decks to play, but decks that are easier to grasp the concept of getting in.
Yeah, we've talked about this on the channel multiple times where a deck might be really solid but very convoluted to play, and this goes for any game, not just Dragon Ball. And you'll see that it might not do as well as you think it should or could at events, and it's because that deck is too difficult to play for 9 hours in a row and maintain a consistent level of quality throughout all of your games. Like, personally, when I go to a big event, I want to take a aggro or a mid-range deck, unless I have a ton of practice on a control deck. And then playing the control deck is the easier thing to do because my format knowledge is so deep on that particular format.
I think as of right now, Gohan is the best deck in my arsenal. I think that I'm the most comfortable with that deck. If I were to go to an event tomorrow, I don't know if I would take Gohan. Because the exact reason you said that it's grueling after a while.
I mean, you were on camera this past weekend, but I mean, I know there was a misplay that happened with you with like just remembering certain autos being played and like have to remember like recovering certain things, and that kind of threw you off.
Yeah, we'll just call out the misplay on the Vegeta Z battle card. Part of its effect is that you warp a card, and then at the start of the next turn, you get that card back into your hand. I had that card got removed, so it wasn't on field to remind me of the auto. And I had been placing. I borrowed this from Jake. I had been placing my little chicken. I'll show my little chicken on the camera one day. I placed my little chicken on the card, and that reminds me to pick the card back up. But where the card got removed, I just completely forgot to put anything there, and I forgot to add that card back to my hand. I played the entire turn, and I had activated my effect to draw up. I had one card in hand, so I drew 2 cards. And I was like, "Ah, shit!" I realized I just left this card here, and there was no good way of me being able to resolve that effect because I had already drew cards for an effect that requires me to have less than 3 cards in hand. That would have put me over 3 cards. So.
There was no really good way to like walk back the
Yeah,
game.
I had played an entire turn and made so many actions and drew so many cards that there was just no way I could put that card back in my hand, and that card would have been a absolutely would have got me the game. And it's just little things like that where it's like there's so many moving parts in the deck that if I were to go to a big event and have to play for 9 hours straight, I don't know if I could do it. Or I think I could do it, but I don't know if I'd be playing at the best of my game throughout the entire event. And it's just I don't think I would want to take that risk. I completely agree with Jake.
No, not just that though. Also, like not only the mental fatigue, but like I feel like every time I've gone to an event, all my games have always gone to game 3. And means there's no time for me to get food. And that's always like a problem with me. I'm like, don't realize it until like after like halfway through. I'm like, oh man, I'm starting to get hungry. Holy crap! So I remember there was one. I think it was one of the Gen Con events we went to, or no, it was Indianapolis. I think me and Jimmy went to. I brought Prison, and I remember having to like literally all my games went to the end of time, so I had no moment of where I could just go get food. So I had to play the entire time just like that. I think me and Jake at the last Gen Con event we went to both got to buy the same round, so we were able to like get a snack before like the real play started happening for us.
Yeah, that was awesome. Also, if I understand how gamers and card players are, and people can forget to eat. If you catch me at Gen Con or a big event and you are starving to death, chances are I have a cereal bar or something in my bag, and I will give it to you.
At
like
TCG Con, you brought like a box of granola bars, didn't you?
Yeah, I had a box of granola bars. Like there was like snack cakes. Like just if you're like shaking going into round 5 because your blood sugar is dropping, find me at a big event and be like, dude, do you have anything to eat? Coin flip, probably. Yeah, probably. I got you, dude. Like
when we went to Gen Con, on the car ride up there, Jake just opens up his bag and pulls like a Sam's Club sized box of what was it? Was like strawberry, like it looked like MRE like military rations.
They were like, Nutrigrain bars, but they were off brand, right? So the bar just said strawberry on it in white letters. There was like no art on the box or anything.
And this happened. I think we're at Racket Club. We have a story about Racket Club. I don't know if we want to share it because maybe it's possibly incriminating. But I when Jake asked me if I wanted the strawberry bar, I was like, hell no, that looks like shit. I don't want it. And then we're going into like round 5 at Gen Con, and I'm like, hey Jake, you got that strawberry bar? And he's like, yeah, dude, like you want one? I was like, no, but yeah, give me one. And that was like the greatest thing I've ever eaten in my life. And because we were at Gen Con and we were starting the round, I didn't get up to throw away my trash, so I put the wrapper in my pocket. And I had not worn that jacket since Gen Con when we were at Racket Club just before the New Year's.
Ew.
I put my jacket on, and I pulled the wrapper out, and it like I had like blocked this entire thing out of my head. I was like, when the fuck did I eat a bar or a wrapper that was just strawberry, and I could not remember anything until Jake brought up that he had brought snacks to an event, and it all come back to me about how I ate this nasty ass delicious strawberry bar at Gen Con.
Dude, when you're hungry, anything is good. I can imagine how funny that was because there's nothing on the wrappers. I might have one actually. There's nothing on them to indicate like what it is. Okay, here's one. This one's got a little bit of art, but it's just like peanut butter.
Yeah.
Like so there's nothing to indicate to you like is that a cereal bar? Was it candy? Is it like fruit? Like I don't know what was in this wrapper from my pocket a year and a half ago. Like
it looks like when the like edible THC got popular, like the prepackaged shit, and like before they just started ripping off the Mario Kart box arts. Like
I wish I was that cool, man. This is like literally just a cereal bar.
Jake, we played some goat format today.
We did. That was really fun, actually.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
What? Why actually were you guys doing that?
I played Goat like back when it was just the format, right? In 04. And a few weeks ago I saw Chase and one of his friends playing Goat at the shop. This is Goat format Yu-Gi-Oh! If nobody's caught up, by the way. And there's one particular commenter who's like pogging right now if he's seeing this video where we're actually bringing up Yu-Gi-Oh! But I just saw them playing and like every card they were drawing was like a flashback for me. And over the break when we weren't really playing Dragon Ball or anything, my mother-in-law gave me a gift card to TCG Player, and I was like, I wonder if I can build a Goat format and get sleeves for it for under $50. And the answer was yes. I had to shop around and buy a lot of damaged cards, and it's not a expensive deck in any means, but it functions. We played a 5-game set today and had a lot of fun.
I don't have the history with Yu-Gi-Oh! At all. Dragon Ball is the first card game that I ever got into. But I had some interest in it because I have a lot of friends that play it, and modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Just fucking sucks. So I was like, Go format looks like a lot of fun. Like I recognize some of these cards, like seeing friends
some of the
growing
cards
up
from the show are still legal in that format.
yeah. So I got into it, and I got a janky deck, and I think about investing a little bit more into Goat format. I am investing into a they call it Advanced, is their like modern format. I am investing a little bit in that. I'm gonna be possibly doing some traveling this year, and there might be times that I miss Dragon Ball locals, and finding Dragon Ball locals seems to be difficult for the greater community, so I don't know if I want to delve into that. But I think finding like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals would be fairly
Easier.
easy. Yeah, I mean, at least around here, there's some sort of Yu-Gi-Oh! Event going on like every other day. So might be easier to get my little card game fix, even if modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Just kind of sucks.
You just take one Dragon Ball deck, take your Goat deck, and take your modern Yu-Gi-Oh deck, and take your Commander deck, and you're set. Like all that stuff could fit in your like long bag you've got, and you're good.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do.
If you were to be doing this, do you know where you'd be hitting by chance?
Not yet. I haven't got the schedule. If there is if this travel does happen, I could probably talk about it a little bit more around that time. But if so, I will post the schedule on AOP, and if anybody watching is from those areas and has a locals, let me know. I would love to swing by and play some Dragon Ball.
Most likely he'll be playing Son Gohan. Just give you guys a heads up on that one.
The new set's gonna be out.
Okay, so it'll be after March. All right.
Yeah, I'll probably be playing like 21 or Cumber or some shit, or maybe I'll just build like Red Yellow Baby and just play that until I die.
Speaking of which, I'm super excited for 21.
You would be.
Yeah, so
I feel like Bancroft has played just about every Android deck that has come out, except for the Invoker 17. I don't ever remember him playing that. But I think every other Android deck he's played.
We actually never got that 17 card.
No, I mean the leader.
The blue one, the blue U7.
Android. I think it's all three androids on the back, right?
No, I think
that's a different leader.
Yeah.
I'm tripping.
I actually forgot about that leader.
Yeah,
because
we know because it's the only Android leader you haven't played yet.
What set did that card?
Set 9?
Yeah,
it's the
anyone played that at our shop?
Trevor once, I think.
Austin's brother Seth played that deck.
When this card attacks, draw 1. Activate main with a turn, red, blue. Choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, return it to the owner's hand. Then choose up to one number 7 card in your drop rate, add it to your hand. Activate main if there are 9 or more multicolor extra. Drop card, double strike. Oh, okay. This is supposed to be the more aggressive version compared to the Goku one. But it never really took off because I think the Goku one was just better in the long run.
Yeah, that leader still snapped.
Not a bad leader overall, just outshined by the other leader in the set.
I cannot let U7 Invoker go. I keep trying to make that deck work, and I don't think it can work in this format.
I mean, I can always just go to Evan Glover's Evan Glover, right? Yeah, his channel. I'm assuming he will have a new take.
Oh, I guarantee it. And they're all fire too. I don't know how this dude just always has a fire U7 list.
Me and Jake talked about it last week. Yeah, me and Jake talked about it a lot last week, where I talked about the idea of having to try to remember every card becomes a hassle almost, mainly because I do go from one deck to another deck to another deck every week because I want to play, at least I want to showcase every deck I possibly can on the channel. So I don't really sit down, but those are people who will sit with one deck and just go and go and go and find a way to perfect that deck and somehow push it to the next tier for its things compared to other people just kind of picking it up and going, this looks good. In reality, it's mediocre compared to this.
Yeah, some people just piloting decks that they've been piloting for a long time can literally take it up a bracket in the tier list of decks if you want to talk about decks in that way.
I'm actually on Evan's YouTube right now.
Nice.
Trying to see if he's has an updated listing time not too long ago. A lot of U7 builds, but not specifically he had, I guess, an updated Goku U7. Then there's a Vegeta Red U7. Then there's a Gohan U7. So he's sticking with the Universe 7.
Hey,
I've been trying to shoehorn in the Z leader for 7Ku into my Z deck for that. When it goes off, it's really funny. Every other time, it's absolute ass.
The question is, a lot of times that deck can win on turn 5 if done right.
Yeah.
Going to turn 7, I feel like
it isn't the Z deck though, so it's not like he's spending a card in his deck to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't see a huge downside to it. What do you play in the Z for that? You probably play the Vegeta. Play that. You probably play. Do you play Rush Attack?
No,
Yeah, you don't need Rush Attack. Yeah. So there's plenty of room in the Z deck.
There's plenty of room in there. What I've been running the issue with the deck is that the strong suits of the deck are having access to Rival Seeker, both of the red blue 6-drop Gokus, and Apex. The rest of the deck is just kind of filled with just fluff to make those cards work. And there are cases where those cards are just better in other decks outside of Apex. Apex is pretty much locked solely to Invoker, but there was a Crimson Coup deck that topped with Rival Seeker and the red blue Gokus, and that deck is sick. It just, I feel like the deck as a whole is weaker than it used to be, and all the cards itself have gotten stronger outside of that, which is kind of cool to see. I don't think you see that a lot with decks where the individual components of the deck start shining in, everywhere else around it. But I'm not going to stop working on the deck. I
maybe just bring it back to locals next week.
Boom.
Easy.
Is that like a challenge?
No, I'm just saying. I just
Like-
feel like the deck you like, and you've been bringing, Son Gohan for the last, I don't know, 3 months.
Are you saying you just don't want to lose to Gohan anymore?
I don't think I haven't played you.
I am.
I haven't. Well, I mean, I could.
It's fine.
It goes in that
It is-
category where I'm trying to build the other decks. Where every deck I think I feel like the last 4 decks I've played have all been decks that like to go mid to long games, and I'm like that doesn't work against decks like Gohan.
If you want me to play one of the new decks, just build me the new fucking deck. I don't have the cards.
You technically do. You
Trust me. I would happily play one of the new decks from this set if I had the ability to. I only got the Gohan shit. That's all I got. Aaron,
I'm gonna say you need
return my calls, Aaron.
Well, you don't know he's sold them all.
I mean, maybe, I don't know.
On a side note, and this I can't remember who in this group reads it. The manga has returned.
Yeah, I am not caught up. However, I did read an article about how this arc is going to be very different than the last few.
Jimmy, Nick, do you guys keep up with the manga at all? I can't remember.
A little bit.
What I like about it is that it is a completely different approach. Finally, it's focusing more on Trunks and Goten, and primarily Trunks because he's a more popular character than Goten is. But this will take place I think it's a few months before the superhero movie, which kind of gives us a timeline, which I still find really confusing because I saw at one point it was referenced that literally the Beerus thing took place like a year after Majin Buu for some reason, but I guess it took place 5 years after the events of Majin Buu, which makes sense why Pan's where she's at. This takes place, like I said, a few months before the superhero movie, and what I actually like about it is the design for characters. Some people are a bit off-putting by it because Trunks seems to be more of a scaredy cat than you would expect, but they stated that they wanted Teen Trunks to be completely different than Future Trunks because he didn't have to live through that hardship that Future Trunks did.
Ooh, interesting.
Because he makes a reference there's the undead. Because if you've seen the superhero movies, you kind of know why the doctor got arrested and whatnot. They're undead guys walking around, and Trunks is very scared of it. He's like, "Oh, there's ghosts!" And I'm like, "Hang on, I think Goten makes a reference too. He's like, we've seen them, our dads have died before, and it's like, yeah, I know, but this is different."
Yeah,
It's like, okay, and
Didn't they fight zombies in the other movie?
yeah,
Well,
and they literally go to hell.
Keep in mind, movies aren't canon to the manga. Actually, not really canon to the anime, but the Kid Trunks was very brave and very head on things like this. And it just last time in the manga we saw Trunks, I think, was Tournament of Power, and they go take care of 17's island from Approachers. And I guess something happened within that year and a half of time span between Tournament of Power and where they're at now, where puberty hit, and all of a sudden he's scared of Ghost.
Well, it's 2 years of not having to fight. Also, I completely reject the premise that Trunks is scared of ghosts, because doesn't Gotenks make ghost tokens?
Yeah.
Doesn't he shoot ghost kamikazes and make 100 million ghosts and fight Boo with it?
Yep.
Maybe he's just scared because he smoked some bad Ren or something like that, and it just really fucked with him.
And turned him into a sailboat.
Yeah, he spent. What else did they do on that island?
Just,
There's no way that Android 17 just has an island with animals on it. He has to be growing some shit there. It's probably some motor oil getting into it. And
all right, dude. I'm throwing. Where's my?
all right, we'll see.
Where's my tab? This is a flag on the play. That is unacceptable.
I'm gonna find the actual line in the manga because I thought it was very interesting. It just throws me off. Yeah. So someone's talking to him in school and it says, "Well, did you hear about the ghost?" And he's like, "Ghost?" It's like, "Oh yeah, I heard the hockey team had a sighting," and Trunks just seems very I can't handle ghosts and ghouls and all that spooky junk. And they're walking down the street at night. And it's Shu said most of this is Trunks saying Shu said most of the reports came from this neighborhood. They're talking all of a sudden. Yeah, Trunks is creepy. That reminds me that people said the ghosts are showing up all around here too. Goten's a bit confused. He's like, well, that's funny because I'm pretty sure both our dads have died and come back as ghosts or whatever. And he's like, that's not the same. And it never specified like how that's not the same because
I guess because it's his dad.
maybe.
It's only cool when my dad does it.
Yeah.
Well, they
Otherwise,
showcase him
it's spooky.
running into like a Frankenstein type character, and maybe it's the idea of like when it comes to more ghouls. I don't know, but it just threw me off when I read it. I was like, wait, this makes no sense whatsoever. But
Yeah.
sure, I'm liking it anyways. I like the idea of the story being focused around other characters, and I'm really
Yeah.
hoping that at some point, since we're doing Prison Planet as part of next set, that we'll get more stuff from the manga, like Moro,
Granola?
the heaters, granola, maybe, but like I feel like we won't ever get those unless they're in some form of animation form.
I personally would really like manga panel style.
Oh god, that would be
cards.
so cool.
That was
like,
a difficult thing to say, but yeah, like it's just a panel from the manga, and that's the card. Like you don't have to make it from the anime. Like
what if it
people
was
enjoy.
like that was the SPR? Like, because didn't Magic do like this like Japanese style like kanji black and white cards or something like that?
The kanji cards were not black and white, but they were alternate art in like traditional Japanese art style.
Okay,
Those cards were sick.
yeah, they were pretty amazing.
I might have one lying around. I'll look through this deck while you guys talk.
Like they did say that the God Rare this set was supposedly going to be in a new art style.
Is there a god rare for both set 3 and 4 for Zenkai?
Maybe they're taking my advice and doing 2 in a row and then putting the God Rare in the weaker power sets. In which case, I'll expect my check in the mail.
His mailbox is actually at my house, so
I mean, we'll split it. I
Yeah.
mean, we'll go get sushi like we always do.
So
Bancroft's not invited.
He's not invited.
there was not a god
Here we
rare
go.
for Fighter Ambition, right?
So this is kind of
Cultivate?
this is the cultivate. The camera's not picking it up well, but the you can see the text here is all Japanese and it's just an alternate art.
Sure is one of the cards.
Okay, yeah. Set 3 doesn't have a god rare. Okay, it's just set 4.
Yeah, whenever the next fucking set has God Rare, it's supposedly going to be in a different art style. So
That's exciting.
I would like to see like the God Rare arts. They're really dope, but I would like to see them be something a little bit more special than just a alt art secret rare. I would love to see like an artist series where the artist themselves maybe signs like a bunch of the cards and throws them in there. I don't know how many God Rares there are, and if that would be a possibility to have somebody sit down and sign that many cards. But I would really like to see God Rares be a little bit more special than what they currently are. And if they are like really super dope new styles of art every time, that's going to be perfect for me. It might be something that I would be interested in, like actually trying to get and collect, opposed to just cool and then flip, because I'll just buy the regular secret rare because the art isn't that much cooler. Kind of like the signature rares, like the SPRSs.
They haven't
like
done
those
those.
are. I would love another series of those. Like those are so sick, and they all look amazing too.
Let's see here. Set 4 as right now, nothing special, and I didn't think anything for set 3 either, at least in the descriptions. Yeah, so I think the next 2 sets won't have anything. Well, I mean, obviously set 4 Zenkai will have a god rare, but outside that, we have the campaign rares that just came out. They haven't done signature sets stuff since what, 7?
Yeah.
Set 7 was the last one.
But those were also voice actor signatures, not anything.
Manga artist
Yeah.
signature.
Yeah.
Well, isn't there a collector booster pack coming out with set 3?
The collector's boosters, very similar to what Magic does with their collector boosters. Which if you, depending on how you look at it, that's a good or a bad thing.
$23.99, one booster pack contains 12 cards each. I remember people were very confused about this. Like, does that mean it's $24 for 12 cards? And of those 12 cards, there is a possible 237 types total. 60 of those are holo commons, 38 are hollow uncommons, 30 are hollow rares, 18 super rares, 15 special rares, 3 secret rares, and then there's the exclusive illustrations, which are silver foil versions, 36 of them, exclusive hollow versions, 33, exclusive secret rare, 3 of those, and then exclusive new hollow version, which is just 1. Now, I remember people were saying, like, I don't want to spend $24 for 12 cards. But didn't Magic do like a $100 box or something recently?
We can get into Magic 30th if you'd like, but let's talk about just the collector's boosters in Magic. They're a comparable price. They're about $25 for 15 cards, I think, is how they work. Or they might even have like more than the traditional Magic style.
How many cards are there total in those?
So that becomes difficult because collector's boosters will have, of course, the entire set, and then they will also have alternate art versions of like rares and mythics, which are like super rares or SPRs, in those boxes as well. And then Magic does a thing in recent years where one card in every collector's booster pack is either from another set, or one time they had a program called Lost Legends where they actually found a palette of the set Legends and opened all of the packs and put one card from each pack of Legends that they opened, I think, into every box or every case or something like that of collectors that they did. So they do a lot of really unique stuff within their collector's boosters, but it's very similar to this Dragon Ball product.
Yeah. Looking at it now, it looks like it is just pretty much set 3, just, I guess, as a collector's instead.
Yeah. Pretty much, if you care about the way your deck looks and the fact of like foil and stuff like that, this is probably a box for you. This is not a box for a player that's just looking to play the game. This is for somebody that either wants to collect the collector's booster or they want to bling out their decks. There are also, if I remember correctly, they're going to be double-sided foil leaders, opposed to just one side being foil, which that's really dope. That's been something that a lot of players have been asking for a while. And I think this is probably going to be a fairly good product, while some players will scoff at the idea of spending $24 or $300 plus for one single booster box. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think you get as many packs in there. I think you only I think you only get 12 packs in this. Yep. So you basically get half of a booster box for 3 times the price.
It lets them keep the price of the collector's box itself smaller, and while people might freak out at the sticker price of these collector's boxes, this will do 2 things. It will divorce the collector investor market from the players market, because those 2 groups of people will be buying 2 different products ostensibly. If you're investing in Dragon Ball, it's going to be way more worth your money to buy these collector's boxes, even though they're more expensive, because ostensibly they will, 1, gain value over time, and 2, if you just crack them open and flip everything, each individual card will be more valuable than if you just bought regular boxes. So you'll have fewer cards, but they'll be more expensive, which means you have fewer taxable events when you sell them all and end up making more money altogether. Secondly, this will crush the price of every single card that you open out of the regular booster boxes. So when you go to build a deck, if you don't care about the way it looks, it will be much cheaper than it is now to build a meta deck, because the meta cards will be in the set and have a regular foiling and everything, but people that care, like Jimmy says, about the way their deck looks and really want to bling it out, and there are a lot of those players, like not just collectors, want cool cards. Those players will be willing to pay the higher prices, but they won't be willing to pay for the moon to get them. So like, the $40 price tag, like on the Gohan rares that you see right now, will never happen again if they print a collector's box with every set, because the collector's version of the Gohan rare will be $40 and the regular one will be half the price or $30. So,
depending on the seeding and pull rates on these packs as well, of course, we don't have it in hand, so we don't know the exact numbers. But like Jake said, the amount of cards might be much greater as well, and there's a possibility that buyouts might happen less and less when now there is such a big market to buy out a particular card will be a monumental task.
especially if the card has a silver foiling, a non-foil foiling, a regular foiling from the set, and then the like alternate art Bancroft was talking about, and then the alternate art foiling. That's 5 printings of a card. Then you would have to buy all the listings of all 5 of those printings to successly buy it out, which makes buyouts way harder to do.
What I'm hoping for, also, if you were to buy a box of this is like $300. But what I'm hoping is that every pack's like a God Rare pack. Because that's essentially what it is. Like, I assume the commons on this are just going to be the reverse foils.
Yeah.
In regular set. So, with that idea, I'm hoping like every pack's like a God Rare. Like, you have 9 of them be a mix between commons, uncommons, and rares. And then 2 of them, it could be super rares or even potentially a secret rare if you're lucky. And then the last one being a exclusive illustration. That way, at least you're getting an exclusive illustration with every pack you open up. And you're not just opening, cracking a pack like, oh, I could have just pulled these from the fucking box.
Yeah, I imagine that if you count like the alternate arts and alt foilings and stuff as a rare, like if you get a alternate art common, if you call that a rare, right? I imagine half the pack will be rares or better. And I imagine every card in the pack will be foil. I think in Magic Collector's Boosters, it's like 15 cards, we'll say. 14, if not 15 of those 15 cards are foil.
We're looking forward to that. With that, I think we're going a little bit long, so we're going to go ahead and wrap it up now. Thank you all for tuning in. Keep in mind, there's stuff down there below. Just click things. You know, there's buttons and whatnot. There's links. Check them out. They do stuff. Yeah, thanks, guys. Bye.